Hello, everyone, and welcome to another NHCFAE Career Podcast. Oscar Torres here, president of the National Hispanic Coalition. And today I'm honored in being joined by someone who I've had the pleasure of working with and someone who I've really looked up to in the organization when I first became involved with the board, et cetera. I had to follow those big shoes that I was never able to fill as director of administration. That's who she was with this organization. But today I want to welcome Ms. Misty Peña. Welcome, Misty, to the podcast.
Hello, Oscar. Glad to be here today.
Likewise. And what we want to do, obviously, it's a career series here, Misty. And I will give everybody the say we were joking about her position in the unit. So I'm going to allow Misty to go ahead and just to kind of let us know what she does in her day job with the FAA.
All right, Oscar. I am an assistant manager in the Office of Aviation Safety, Flight Standards Service, General Aviation, Special Emphasis Investigations Team. That is a mouthful.
Now everybody knows why I wanted Misty to say that as well. No, thanks for that, Misty. A lot of important work there. I've had the pleasure of sharing some stories with Misty and stuff like that about the work that she does. But, she's had a very long and amazing federal career, Misty. And I just want to kick things off by you. We kick these things off by everyone giving themselves a little background on how they first started. But in your particular case, obviously your first job with the federal government was not with the FAA, but I want you to go ahead and elaborate how your federal career got started.
So it started 36 years ago and a month, but it did start with the FAA. I was a junior in high school and I needed a job. And I went to school half a day and was to work a half a day. And one of the leads was to the FAA. And I got my first job as a student aide in the Office of Labor Relations and Human Resource Management Division in Southwest Region in 1989. That was a long time ago.
Started when you were 7.
Almost.
No, that's great. No, that's great. Obviously, you talked a little bit about investigation, emphasis group, et cetera. Why don't you give us a little insight of what your day looks like? Obviously, there's some confidential information there that you can't share with us, but some details, but just of an overview of what exactly you do on a daily basis.
As I progressed through my career, I ended up graduating college, got my criminal justice degree, left the FAA, went and worked at the Department of Labor, Employee Benefits Security Administration, came back to FAA in security, and I was assigned to work also with this team that I'm currently on now, the SEIT team. That's what Special Emphasis Investigations Team, the acronym is. And I eventually came over full time to that office, I think in about 2012. So we're a small team stationed. We have individuals nationwide across the country, and we provide technical flight standards expertise to internal and external stakeholders in regards to all things airmen, aircraft, aviation entities. And we do investigations and we provide that assistance in hopes of ensuring that the national airspace stays as safe as we can add to it to make it safe.
I know it's definitely interesting work, definitely. Talking a little bit about, I mentioned a little bit earlier how you got involved with the Hispanic Coalition, et cetera. I always ask our members that come and join us with this career series, talk a little bit about how you found out about the coalition, how you got involved, and you still are an influential person in the organization, and I see you as a leader of this organization for many years now. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and how you came across the coalition and became a very influential person for the organization?
Thank you, Oscar. Let's see, 1992, 1993, DFW, there was a chapter in DFW. It was led by Lena Ortiz, and Lydia worked a lot with Lena, and somehow they got me in it back then. And we did a lot of events. Back then, we paid like 50 cents a student for our dues. But I remember my first conference was 1993 or 4 in San Antonio, Texas. And like from that moment, it was like we were hooked because we loved the atmosphere, what we looked up to our peers, and we saw these people doing these amazing, great things for people of our community. And ever since then, I've been a part of the coalition. Even when I left the FAA, even though I wasn't a member then, I still provided some assistance on the side. And when I came back, I had to wait a little bit to re-engage, but I still looked to my friends in the coalition for guidance and mentoring. But I've met some amazing, great people over the 30-something years in the coalition. Roger Trevino was another great mentor. So it has provided an excellent opportunity to meet people, to learn more about the agency, to be able to give my failures in my career and the things that I've done great in my career to help mentor someone else as they're struggling to promote in their own careers. So it's been an excellent, I love it. I love being a part of the leadership team with the coalition and just providing my decades of experience in the government and with the coalition.
And I know you mentioned mentorship. Obviously, you had mentors, and you as a manager too. I'm sure you've taken over that mentor role as well to some individuals. But tell us a little bit about the coalition that allows you to actually be a mentor as well. I know you've participated in some of the outreach events. Obviously, they're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've seen you out there where we do have the ACE camps, et cetera, like that. Why don't you elaborate a little bit on that, on how the organization has helped? In previous career series, we talked about how the organization serves as that platform, right, for our members, for all individuals to provide or to give them that space to provide that mentorship. So tell us a little bit about maybe some experiences that you may have had providing that mentorship to maybe a youngster, someone, you know, someone young coming in inspiring to maybe lead a life in federal service or even aviation in itself.
As a member and a long member, when I got ready to accept the position with the Department of Labor, I went to my mentor in the coalition, Roger Trevino,
Nice.
for his guidance and expertise because I was so loyal to the FAA that it was hard to accept a position that was going to give me career growth at another agency. And Roger and I went through back and forth conversations about the pros and cons and how good it would be and the con of leaving home because this was my home. And I always look back to that conversation, like when others come to me for their own advice, whether it's a formal mentoring or informal mentoring, I've been able to give my experiences and my thoughts of how I think that maybe they should proceed in their progression to excel to the next position, next level, whatever the avenue is to help them grow and just thinking outside of the box and things to consider in those when we have those conversations. In regards to outreach, it's always great to go out and talk to kids, especially in this area, because many of them have an airport in their backyard and they don't know a whole lot about aviation. And as a kid myself and growing up in this area, I was one of them. I don't know what Meacham Field was back then, even though I passed it as I drove to work or I went to school across the street from it when I was younger. So it's always great to tell these young individuals, the next generation, about the benefits of a career in aviation, because we don't get a lot of that in the inner communities about aviation and that you can be a pilot, you can be a mechanic, you can be an air traffic controller, you can investigate like me, you can be the person that helps all these individuals in their day-to-day administrative stuff, because every role in the agency puts its piece into aviation safety, right? It's always great, and the kids are always excited when we're out there talking to them.
No, it's definitely something that we discussed with other podcasts that recently did an ad. And and again, I think that's really part of the mission, right? At the core, right? When we go out into these schools, colleges, universities, et cetera, and talk to these youngsters and try to inspire them and let them know that, hey, they are capable of reaching these jobs. And the coalition always provides that additional support. The networking piece is very important. Looking back at your career, 36 years, federal service, et cetera, there's a lot of experience there. You've seen a lot. You've experienced a lot. What advice, you touched a little bit on that, but what specific advice, not just for a youngster, but let's say another young female, right? We all know aviation over the years has had some advances, right, when it comes to diversity, not just a male dominated career, just the FAA, but over aviation overall. What kind of advice, taking all that experience that you've had over the 36 years, would you tell that young woman as inspiring to not just a career in federal government, but just a career overall in an area that may be like, hey, you know what? That's a lot of women don't do that. What would that be advice to that youngster?
Never stop. Always have a dream and be passionate about what it is you want to do in life. I knew from 18 years old I wanted to be in some form of law enforcement, right? But I also had a child. So being a police officer and working nights was not going to be a part of my life, right? I just couldn't swing it. But I knew I enjoyed investigative work. So have a dream and don't stop until you get it. I mean, always look for opportunities. We have to leave places that we're comfortable with. I left my home at the FAA to go off to an agency that I knew no one, absolutely no one, didn't know what they did, but I knew I was going to be an investigator and I knew I was going to do a great job. But you don't stop. Don't limit yourself. Don't get comfortable. Keep looking, keep, educating yourself. Education is a key, is fundamental to a lot of things, right? And it doesn't have to be a formal education, right? We learn through different mechanisms, but always keep looking for that next goal, right? Don't give up on yourself. Because if you give up on yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. So you got to keep striving forward. Know if you can dream it, you can achieve it. I always say that. And once you get to where it is that you're looking to go, don't ever forget to help someone behind you, because everyone had someone to get to where they are, right? So always go back and mentor, provide your expertise where you fumbled the ball a few times and how you would have done things differently.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Misty. And just so you know, you were a mentor to me as well. You may have not known it. Misty was the director of administration. And then that was my first position as a board member. To her point, it was a bit scary, right? It was a big position, an important position that really drove the agenda of the organization. And I couldn't have asked for a better person to follow in that, because she was really a mentor to me and guided me in doing the job and doing it right. As everyone knows here, we are all volunteers in this organization. We take our time, and man, over the years, it has been a true honor to work alongside Misty, even to this day. Sending a text here and there, saying hello, etc., crossing paths, seeing each other. We are truly a family here, and it's just not just friendships, it is family. And it's been a true honor, Misty. So I want to thank you for joining us in this career series. It's always I've heard that story in many different ways, but it's always very inspiring, gets me teary-eyed all the time. I hear it from you. But it's really, we really wanted to do these podcasts because there's a lot of youngsters out there and other individuals that need to hear these stories. And I think hopefully that'll motivate them and inspire them to really reach for their dreams, like you have said. So again, thank you, Misty. To our listeners here, right? If you want to get more information regarding our coalition, NHCFAE.org, get more information there about our membership, please reach out if you have any questions. And to our members or any one of those individuals, as we alluded to, right, it takes some time for us to do the outreach piece. But even if you contribute as a member and you don't have the time to maybe visit a school or join us in one of those events, know that your contributions are really making that possible. They're really important, and they really play a critical role in the organization. So before we kick off, Misty, any last words you'd like to say as we close off another great series here in this podcast?
No, it was great being a part of this. I love this series. I think it's a great opportunity for the coalition to outreach what all that the coalition has to offer to our current aviation professionals and the next generation. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Misty. And thank you, everyone. And we'll catch you next time on the next episode.